I wanted to do a term paper in college on pop art, and the teacher said that's too broad a topic for a term paper. Why don't you pick one artist and narrow it down? So I picked Andy, and then I just wound up falling in love with the guy. You know, he came to Sacramento in 1981. He was promoting a series of silk screens called Myth. And for $25, you could pay to meet Andy Warhol at a Friday night reception. So I paid him $25, me and my girlfriend, and we got all dressed up, put Campbell soup cans in our coat pockets, and we went to meet Andy Warhol.
Well, I learned about the chance for us to get part of the collection from the Warhol Foundation when our foundation director, Kirsten Dubray, shared with me that Ken Magri, one of our outstanding faculty members, an art history professor, was pursuing the opportunity for us to become one of the few community colleges in the nation, and certainly the first community college in California to have access to Warhol's Polaroids and other photographs.
It all started back in 2009. I was sitting in the park watching my kid play, reading the Sacramento Bee, and there was an article about UC Davis and Sac State getting donations of, they didn't say how many, but they said Andy Warhol photographs, and that this was part of a huge program called the Andy Warhol Photographic Legacy Project, which was started on the 20th anniversary of Warhol's death by the Andy Warhol Foundation Incorporated.
He started talking to me about the possibility of securing his collection from the Warhol Foundation, and then he hit a stumbling block and asked for some help in kind of packaging up his request to them, and he'd been working on it for 2 years. And so it turned out that he needed a little help kind of getting some letters written, which we had the president of the college, Dr. David Bayar, help write a letter.
And it was very frustrating to me that here, because the foundation, somebody up there in New York City was not able to understand California community colleges, that we might lose this. So okay, I'm going to use my legal background, my educator background, and my love of art, and see how we can put together a letter for the foundation to try to explain to them, you really should be giving this to American River College. We're deserving of it. We are governed appropriately, and we are the right place for it.
And we waited a couple of months. It seemed like forever, and then they notified him that it had been accepted.
The first thing that came in the mail was a contract and an inventory list. And the inventory list was 150 photographs. 50 of them were 8x10 black and white prints. 100 of them were Polaroids. The Polaroids are all preliminary photographs for commissioned portraits. So let's say you're a wealthy art collector in New York and you decide, I want to commission Andy Warhol to do my portrait. He'd have you come by the factory. They would put makeup on you and get you to look the way they wanted. And then he had a Polaroid big shot camera. It was a specific kind of Polaroid that didn't last very long on the market because people didn't like it, but Andy loved it. In fact, when he found out they were going to stop making them, he went out and bought 6 more. He would just have his assistant hand him big shots, and he would pose you. He would say, hold that pose, or, you know, you look beautiful, you look like a movie star. I'm going to make you look like Marilyn, in a sense making the sitter feel comfortable, flattering the sitter, but for 200 photographs sometimes. There was one fashion model who bragged that he only took a few dozen photographs of her. Essentially, we turned into history detectives. The thing that helped absolutely the most was something called the Andy Warhol Diaries. Turns out that Warhol used to call his secretary, Pat Hackett, every morning at 9 a.m. and dictate everything that happened the day before. We found where he was eating pizza with Mary Tyler Moore that night. He wrote, they were flirting. We got a call back from Cornelia Guest, who was the third cousin of Winston Churchill, and she's on the phone going, oh my gosh, that's my brother Alexander. We have a Polaroid of Diana Ross's daughter, J.C. Ross. We found out stuff even the Warhol Foundation doesn't know yet.
What good does it do, you know, for any foundations to just hold on to this stuff under lock and key? And I think just to keep the legacy of his work and what he meant to the art world and celebrity and everything, I think it behooves them, you know, to get this out.
It will give students involved in the art history classes, students involved in photography class, students involved in any of our art classes an opportunity to take advantage of going and looking through these records of Andy Warhol and to just get a little piece of who he was as an artist and why he did some of what he did.
It just serves as a beautiful time capsule, especially for people your age who didn't even exist in the 70s and 80s. You can go back, you can look at hairstyles, fashions, cars, celebrities. You should see Sylvester Stallone when he was young. Andy was even going off about that. He's so beautiful. He has such beautiful hands. So it just becomes an intriguing kind of set of visual time capsules that record that period in New York. That's why we called the show Warhol's New York. I just took a shot.